One of the most important things that you do as an HVAC service tech or installation tech is provide good customer service to the customers you are serving and you're visiting on a daily basis. Customer relations is extremely important to any service business and to the service technician. Without it, no business, no work, no income. The technician is a major factor in acquiring and keeping customers. All technicians should be concerned with the quality of work because A, customers have the right to receive the high quality service they're paying for. B, it reflects on the service business and the technician. And C, it could be result in future work or no work at all. As professionals, you should always strive to provide the best workmanship possible. Quality work will be beneficial to you, the company, and your customer. There are several guidelines you have to follow to be and look professional in the trade. Number one issue we see is first impressions. The impression the technician makes on the customer is very important. Your first impression is what gets you in the door of a customer's house. The first impression begins with the technician arriving on time. Arriving on time shows that you know the customer's time is valuable. If a technician is going to be late or delayed, the customer should be called and given an explanation. An appointment should be scheduled for either late that day or another time when it's convenient for the customer. Customers affected by the delay should be given priority in scheduling a makeup appointment. In the event of emergency service calls, all efforts should be made to arrive as soon as possible. When arriving, do not park in or block the customer's driveway unless necessary. If carrying equipment or having to make several trips to the vehicle, ask for permission to park in the driveway. The customer may suggest another location. Always keep your service vehicle neat, clean, and orderly. This will help make a good impression and provide better working conditions for the technician. Remember, the customer's last name and always address them as Mr., Mrs., Ms., Sir, or Ma'am are also appropriate. When meeting a customer, be prepared to shake hands. In many cases, it may be appropriate to let the customer initiate the handshake. Be aware, though, that not all people like to shake hands, so do not force it. Handshake or not, the technician needs to be friendly and approachable. Appearance is another factor in first impressions in maintaining good customer relations. Pay attention to the following aspects of appearance. Hair should be brushed or combed and neatly trimmed. Male technicians should be clean shaven or have a neatly trimmed beard or mustache. Long hair should be worn in a ponytail. Clothing needs to be neat and clean. For most uniforms, the shirt should be tucked in. If an ID badge is required, it should be in plain sight. Personal hygiene is important. Your appearance and personal cleanliness are indicators of the quality of work you offer. After arriving at a customer's address, take a minute or two to get organized. You may have a clipboard with material to organize or review. Think about what you're going to say and do when meeting the customer. Do not flip a cigarette butt to the ground outside the truck or on the way to the house or another location. Don't smoke during a service call. After arriving at the house but before entering, put on your shoe covers. Do not use a customer's bathroom without permission. Do not use the customer's phone. Finally, do not make or receive personal phone calls while on the work site. Successful communication is two-way. It involves listening and speaking. Listen attentively without interrupting as the customer describes the problems with the system. The more information you gather, the easier it will be to diagnose that system. After listening to the issue involved, ask the relevant questions, which may help you resolve the issue. You must be able to clearly but briefly describe the service that can be provided to resolve those issues. As a result of this two-way communication, your high skill level should be clear to the customer. Remember, show courtesy and respect for the customer at all times. Please note that telling people how capable and skilled you are is often a turn-off. Avoid bragging. Let the good work speak for itself. Finally, never say anything to discredit a competitor or business. Okay, don't ever talk down about a competitor. It's unprofessional. Conflicts and arguments with customers should be avoided at all costs. If a conflict arises or the customer is upset, observe the following guidelines to resolve the issue. Stay calm, listen attentively, and respond appropriately to any concerns. Assure the customer of your competence and your ability to do the work in a timely manner. View a complaint as an opportunity to solve a problem and turn a bad experience into a good one. Remember that previous experience with service, even if not with you specifically, may have left a negative impression on a customer. Now you have a chance to turn that around. Do not react defensively or take criticism personally. Instead, ask what you can do to resolve the issue. Never be critical of a customer, even in a joking manner. If you can resolve the problem, do it. If you must report it to your supervisor, let the customer know that you'll do this right away and will get back to them immediately if possible. Then follow through. On the service call, good communication is very important. Okay, it's a critical part of the service call. After arriving and introducing yourself, it is important to ask as many questions as needed to have a clear understanding of the problem. Keep the customer informed of all the usual circumstances during the course of the job. If you must leave the job for any reason, such as a parts run or another emergency, tell the customer the reason and when you will return. An informed customer is less likely to become angry or complain. During the service call, you may need to explain what you have found and indicate the parts needed and associated costs if they differ from the estimate. Double check all your work. Clean the work site when finished and protect the customer's property from damage. After the service call is complete, tell the customer what you found. Okay, what was wrong, what you've done and corrected, what parts you needed, and demonstrate when possible by turning the unit on, explaining how the problem was corrected. That's extremely important. You want to be able to say the customer saw it run when you're done. Customers have a right to know exactly what they're paying for. Talk to the customer in language they can understand. Don't use many technical terms. Don't exaggerate it. Before leaving, billing information should be given to the customer. This should include a description of what was done and the costs. Or you may be instructed by your company to collect cash on delivery. Make sure you do that in a professional and consistent manner. A good technician is also a good salesperson. That doesn't mean you're there to do sales. That means a good technician is a good salesperson. All options to resolve a problem should be presented in an honest and fair manner. This may or may not include providing information on a new system. After the technician provides all relevant information, it's the customer's responsibility to choose the right option for their circumstances. A good technician should never talk them into a particular choice. This may leave the customer feeling tricked or pressured and will taint the relationship between the customer and the company. Okay, you're primarily a service technician. Okay, the company may have a written recommendations for guiding the technician presenting option to the system. For example, if the unit is X years old, where X may be 5, 10, 15, 20 years old, and the repair will cost so much, a recommendation to replace the unit or system may be appropriate. But remember, it's always the customer choice, and don't be disappointed if they choose what you believe is the wrong option, because for them that might be the right option. Be honest and fair to the customer, to yourself, and to your employer. Do your best work for every job. First impressions are very important. Appearance and hygiene are major indicators of your quality of work. As a technician, you have to be a very good communicator. When making a service call, listen attentively, ask as many questions as needed to have a clear understanding of the problem. Conflicts and arguments with customers should be avoided at all costs. If you must leave the job site, tell the customer why you are leaving and when you will return. A technician is also a salesperson. Excellent work leads to future business.